Hey everyone, welcome back to K-Korner. I'm Crown, your host, and today we've got some wild stories to share with you. From a car sale gone wrong to a heartwarming tale amidst a divorce, we've got it all. So grab your popcorn and let's dive into these unbelievable adventures. Don't forget, if you love these kind of stories, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Alright guys, here it goes. As I transitioned out of the US Navy about 3 years ago, I decided to sell my beloved Saturn V, which was on a decline, and bought a much newer RAV4. When I returned home, I now had my shiny new car. I wanted to sell my old one to someone who I thought would take care of it. I'm savvy like that. My cousin was dating a guy who we will call ex-douchebag, and I had met him before and he seemed chill. So I verbally agreed to sell him the car for $2,000, half upfront and payments when he could do so. An important factoid for later is that when you transfer the title, you tell the state what you're selling for and get taxed on that. We were discussing telling the state that I was selling to him for less and less in the tax. I don't remember why, but at the last minute I decided to tell a notary the full price I was selling for. Good thing I did. After a few months of sporadic payments and a really nasty breakup between cousin and the douchebag, turns out he was a serious douchebag, surprise surprise, the payment stopped. Now I was hopping between my dad's house near cousin, my mom's 8 hours away, and college in between, and takes around 10 months out of the year. He had missed months before, so I wasn't too concerned. But after 3 months, I messaged him about the payments. The conversation went basically as follows. Hey douchebag, sorry to hear about the breakup. How did you want to give the money to me now that my cousin isn't acting as a go-between? The douchebag says, I paid the money. If your cousin decided to take it for herself, that's not my problem. The car is legally titled in my name, so it's your problem now. Delete my number and have a nice day. Okay. Very dubious. Hi aunt and cousin. Did the entitled douchebag give you the remaining $600? They both say, yeah, no. Hi douchebag, me again. They said they didn't receive it. How did you send it? I can track it down. I gave her $600. It's not my problem anymore. Don't text me again. Well, alrighty then. Since he can get me for harassment for continuing to contact him, I decide for a little malicious compliance. I take all the texts, get my aunt and cousin to agree to testify if needed, put together a list of his payments and dates, the car title receipt which says how much it was sold for, and take his butt to the local district court. Now as I said, I was bouncing around a lot, which is why this took so long to be honest. But it took about a year for this step, in which a lot of research was done. And apparently a year was a lowball estimate on the statute of limitations anyway. The biggest pain in the rear was making sure his address was up to date. He used his grandmother's as a mailing address, and after he was served, he moved again. Like trying to get rid of me. I know when he was served because I received a message from him on the day he was. And this conversation was as follows. Excuse me, but I thought we settled this a year ago. Well, sorry, but there are still $600 missing, and you told me not to contact you, so… I already told you I paid. I have to deal with $8K from my DUI and $7K from my motorcycle accident. I can't deal with this petty stuff. If you take me to court, I'll counter-sue you for stress and garnish your wages for missing work. At this point, he's trying to get me to tell him what I have on him that can prove he's in trouble. I tell him that he can find out in discovery. He repeats that he would be happy to pay if there was a discrepancy. Which, please, if that were true, we wouldn't be here now, would we? Then he started ranting. You have nothing on me. It's obvious you have no proof. Isn't it suspicious that your cousin got a new car? It's obvious where the money went. I'm not concerned about going to court at all. I was just trying to save you the time and money and blah blah blah. Eventually I just give up talking to him and saying that the court will handle it and see you then. He made it clear that his ace in the hole was the fact that we had a verbal agreement. Show me your signed agreement. Where is it? Fun fact, verbal agreements are enforceable. And cousin was there to witness it. Now he gets a month to respond to the summons, guilty, no guilty and so on. Then a second day to sit for the hearing. But if he doesn't respond, it's default judgment. Last day he shows up and agrees that he owes the money and does not intend to fight it. Awesome. The court enters judgment for the $600, plus all my filing fees. I did get slightly confused when I got the news of default judgment because I thought he just didn't show up. Not that he didn't contest it. At this point, he gets another month to appeal. The day after that date is passed. I gleefully message him again. Hi douchebag, it's been a month since the judgment and I haven't heard from you. How do you want to proceed? The judgment was wrong. I'm fighting it in court. I never signed anything. That's my defense and I will see you in court. Incredulous. You didn't show up, you didn't respond to the letter which the court knows you received, and you didn't appeal within the 30 days. Remember, I thought he didn't show up. I did show up and told her I was fighting. Not my fault they processed it wrong. I lost a whole day of work. I will be suing for that too. Plus whatever else I lose over this. My parole officer and I discussed what you've been told is severely wrong. I just stopped responding. My next step was to file my judgment at the county court. Make sure it gets signed after judgment by the judge. Learn from my mistake. Then file for a writ of execution. Remember again that all these fees just get added to the total amount he has to pay. Turns out that he moved sometimes in all of this, so the sheriff just subpoenaed his address from the post office. Turns out he was living with his new girlfriend. And finally, the conclusion. Just last night, my dad said, guess what? He got mail. It's from the sheriff. I'm like, oh, gimme. Now I was expecting something about him fighting the Ritter, they couldn't find him, while my next step was something, you know? What I did not expect was 2 escrow checks for the full amount owed me. I squealed in absolute delight. I told my mom, my cousin, my aunt, I will gleefully have the checks cashed on Monday. Serves you right, jerk. Yo, so there I was chilling with mom at the grocery store, just vibing to some tunes in my earbuds. We were cruising down the cereal aisle, me trying to convince my mom to get the Choco Puffs, cause you know, they are the bomb. And that's when this lady, let's call her Karen cause she totally had the vibe, bumps into our cart. Like seriously, no excuse me or nothing. Karen's like, watch where you're going. All snappy and stuff. Mom, being mom, fires back with, maybe you should open your eyes. I'm trying not to laugh, but come on, it was kind of funny. Things get heated, Karen's going on about respect and whatnot, and mom's not having any of it. They are both throwing shade like it's sunny in Seattle. I'm just there thinking, can we not do this here? We're heading out and I thought that was the end of it. But nah, Karen follows us to the parking lot, still yapping about respect and manners. Mom's trying to ignore her, but Karen's like a mosquito buzzing and buzzing. Then Karen does the unthinkable. She jumps into her car and, I kid you not, tries to run us over. My mom's yelling, are you crazy? And I'm just frozen. Karen's car is coming right at us. Everything happened so fast, I tripped, twisting my ankle or something. I thought this is it. I'm a goner. But then it's just my foot. Karen's tire rolls right over it. The pain, dude, it was like nothing I've ever felt. I'm on the ground screaming like I'm in a horror movie. It was bad. Mom's freaking out, asking if I'm okay, but all I can do is scream. My foot's all kinds of messed up and I'm thinking, this is not how I planned my Saturday. Mom sees me on the ground and oh boy, she loses it. She storms over to Karen's car. Karen's trying to drive away, but mom's having none of that. She pulls Karen out of her car like she's a superhero or something and she starts throwing punches. Karen's screaming, mom's screaming, and I'm screaming. It was total chaos. I'm lying there thinking, mom's gonna get arrested for this. But also like, go mom. Cops show up and it's like a scene out of a cop show. They are asking what happened and Karen's playing the victim. But there are witnesses and they are all, that lady ran over her foot. The ambulance guys are super cool. They are trying to keep me calm while they are checking my foot, which is all kinds of swollen and weird looking. Karen's got a bloody nose and is all handcuffed, looking like a hot mess. At the hospital, they are poking and prodding at my foot, x-rays, painkillers, and the works. Mom's pacing like a caged lion, still mad as heck. She's on the phone with dad telling him about Karen and her crazy stunt. I'm lying there, high on pain meds, thinking about how I'm gonna miss soccer practice. Coach is gonna flip. The next few days are a blur. Cops come by asking me what happened and I tell them everything. From the cereal aisle showdown to the parking lot madness. Mom's talking to lawyers and Karen's name keeps popping up. Sounds like she's in deep trouble. There is talk about prison charges, and I'm like, yeah, she ran over my foot. I never thought I'd be part of a court case. It's kinda wild and scary, but mom says it's about justice and stuff. The trial day comes and it's like something off TV. I'm on a stand, telling the judge and everyone about Karen and her car. My heart's racing and I spill it all. The argument, the chase, the pain. Karen's lawyer tries to twist it, but the truth is the truth, right? Karen's sitting there looking all sorry now, but I keep thinking about my busted foot and all the soccer games I'm missing. The judge just got this serious look as he talks about reckless endangerment and assault with a deadly weapon. Big, scary words. Then he says it. Karen's getting 3 years. Bam, just like that. Part of me is relieved, but it's also kinda sad, like, why did she have to go all crazy? Mom hugs me, says it's over, but I keep thinking about Karen's face. It's weird. Months later, we get this letter. It's from Karen in prison. She's all apologetic, saying she's sorry and stuff. I don't know how to feel. Mom's like, it's good she's sorry, but it doesn't fix my foot. I'm back playing soccer, but it's not the same. Sometimes I think about Karen, hoping she's learning something in there. It's a weird story to tell for sure, like, remember the time I got my foot run over in a parking lot? Ah, crazy man. And there you have it, a tale of aisle rage, parking lot fury, and a little bit of justice. Who knew a trip to the grocery store could turn into all this drama? Life's wild, y'all. Hey K-Korner family, loving the story so far? If you do, show some love by hitting that like button, drop a comment below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to stay updated with all our latest videos. Your support keeps these stories coming. Let's get back into it. My 36 male friends are getting a divorce. They have been together since we were in high school, so it came as a huge shock. Lately, all they do is argue, loads of stuff on their plate, but I still didn't think it would be so much as to make them forget their daughter's 13th birthday. She's like a niece to me, so I spent some time thinking about what to get her. She wants to be an architect one day and really likes the Singapore skyline, so I got her a Lego Singapore architecture set. Had it wrapped and went over to their place yesterday. Both of them were mortified when they realized that they forgot her birthday. After she went to her room to start playing, they turned on me and said I should have given them a reminder in a text or something, since I knew they have a lot to deal with right now. Am I the jerk in this? And now some comments on the post. Someone saying you're not the jerk. This is a horrifying story about two completely self-involved people lashing out at the one person who cared enough about their child to remember her birthday. Don't listen to what these terrible friends have said to you. God bless you for being there for this poor child. Another commenter adds, not the jerk. It's a great thing that your niece has you in her life. At 13, I'm pretty sure she knew what day her birthday was. It's fine to reschedule events. It's fine to not make a huge deal out of birthdays. It's fine to text your 35-year-old friend the day after and say happy belated birthday. It's not cool to completely ignore your 13-year-old child's birthday and then have the audacity to blame their aunt for getting them a gift. A third commenter goes with, not the jerk. They are their parents, and they should remember their daughter's birthday. Even though they are going through a divorce, they should still acknowledge they have a daughter. And I find it very inappropriate for them to lash out at you. By the way, you're a great person being so thoughtful regarding the gift. So for a little context, this story is not mine. This happened to my father in the 80s and the 90s, but I will write in the first person because English is hard. In the 80s, I lost everything I could. I dropped out of college, my father died of a heart attack, and my mother was somewhere in the wind. I wasn't worth the air I was breathing. As a last effort, I saved up some money to move to a different state so that I could start fresh. I chose Montana to be my new home. Because I didn't have a college degree, I knew I could only make a living with my hands and not my head. After a bit of looking around, I found work on a ranch. The owner of the ranch, let's call him Jack, took me under his wing. He taught me how to ride a horse, how to herd, how to do cutting, roping, and many other useful skills on a ranch. My goal was to have enough money for a deposit so I could buy a house, or at least some land. After about 3 years, I had the money, but I loved the ranch and the folks so much but I chose to stay longer. In the spring of 1988, I finally made the decision to quit. I was fully honest with Jack about my intentions were. I told him that I wanted to buy some land to have a ranch of my own and potentially get married and start a family. Being the absolute champ, Jack offered me some contacts of people who were selling lands. After some time, I chose a piece of land near Jack's ranch. I got a loan, bought the land, and in the summer, I started building my house. By winter, the house was done, and it was planned that in the spring, I'll build a barn and some fences, corrals among others. In the spring, it was back to work, and before summer started, I had nothing to do. I had a lot of time on my hands while I was waiting for all the paperwork to be done, and I wasn't going to spend 2 weeks sitting on my porch doing nothing when Jack promised me that if I would ever need it, he would give me a job. Now, I didn't need a job because of money, but I just didn't have anything to do, so I went to my good old friend Jack if he needed some help. He said that he could use me to guide people on the tours he was offering. His ranch is not only in the cattle business, he also offers tours of the pristine nature on his property. I happily accepted the job despite me not liking people, but still, it was better than just sitting on my front porch and doing absolutely nothing. The first few days went without a problem, but then a wild Karen appeared to brighten up the day. I was just returning from a tour when I saw this Karen in the middle of the field yelling at this girl, who was also a guide. I didn't know the girl, but in my books, whoever makes a girl cry is an a-hole. I came over to them and in the most passive-aggressive voice I can, I say, "Good day. What seems to be the problem?" And the Karen's wrath was now aimed at me, and she yelled back, "This witch has no respect for the desires of the customer. Give me a manager now." Now, I didn't expect such strong wording, but I kept my cool despite my hot-headedness. And I came up to the girl, who's now sobbing because this Karen was mouthing off to her pretty good, and I say to her, "Leave her to me, I'll take care of her. You go take a break and tell Jack that I'll be with this piece of work." She gives me a grateful smile and a nod and rides away. I go to the Karen and I say to her, "Ma'am, I can't get you the manager as he's busy right now, but if you want I can be your guide in her stead for the remainder of the tour." She replies very politely by saying, "Sure, I think even the trees will be better than that witch." Every part of my hot-headed self wants me to pretty much bury this woman right then and there, but I keep my cool, and we head off on a tour. I was in the first minute, what a piece of work she truly is. She behaves like she knows best and everyone is lesser than her and everything should be given to her. When we are about to turn around and go back, I give her a choice. We could either go the official route or we could return by the unofficial route, which is shorter, but there were bear sightings reported in the past few days. I tell her that the unofficial route is quite dangerous, but just as I wanted her to do so, she vehemently objects because she's the wisest person alive and knows the best. Great, my trap had worked. After about 5 miles on this unofficial route, she starts screaming and turns so pale that she's even more white than paper. In the distance, there is a grizzly. I knew about the danger I dragged both of us into, but in the end, it was technically her choice to go that route. I tell her to make herself as big and loud as she can. I follow suit, but the bear keeps getting closer. It keeps growling at us. With every growl, Karen was getting ever more pale. After it gets way too dangerous, I shoot a round out of my rifle, and the bear gets scared and runs away into the woods. The entire ride back she keeps yelling at me that I put her intentionally in so much danger. And yes, I'll admit it was quite reckless taking a visitor into a part of the woods where there were bear sightings reported. But technically she made the decision to go that route. I stay silent the entire ride because I can't keep a straight face. I was laughing maniacally in my head, and I knew that if I looked at her, I would start laughing out loud. When we returned, she was shaking violently and was pale as ever. After I tied up her horse, she demanded that I get her the manager, and I gladly pointed her to the little building in the distance, and she stormed off. She starts yelling at Jack, and I can see that Jack is trying his hardest not to break out laughing. I could hear that she was demanding that I be fired, but the neat part was, I wasn't even an employee of Jack's. I was doing it as a favor for a friend, and thus, I couldn't be fired. After the Karen's tirade ends, Jack comes to me laughing like a kid and he asks me, how did you even come up with that, OP? I start giggling as well and answer, well, she made the girl cry, so I wanted to give her a special treatment. I heard of the bear sightings and it worked out well in my favor. He then asks me not to do that again, as it was reckless. And I agree, and I tell Jack, I don't plan on doing it again. But I had a plan if the bear mauled the damn rich. My defense will be that I gave her the choice to go on a safer path, but because she was apparently of higher intellect than me, I simply agreed. Jack gives me a smile and he heads off. Years later, my father would end up meeting that girl guide again. Her name was Abby, but nowadays, I simply call her Mom. Wow, what a roller coaster of emotions today. From reclaiming money owed and the kindness shown during tough times, it's been quite the journey. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to like, comment, and share this video. Remember, every story has its own lesson, and we can't wait to share more with you. So until next time, stay tuned, keep smiling, and we will see you in the next video right here on K-Korner. This is Crown, signing off.